All right. So it looks like the stream has started. I want to verify that because this page doesn't look like it's doing anything. But if I look at my channel, I should be able to verify. Yep, we got a live going right now, live stream. How to prepare files for mixing. Stream has started. So let me just mute that. But good, looks good. Looks like we are live streaming. I am going to go over how to prepare your files to send to be mixed by a mix engineer today. This is actually something that I've already covered before. However, when I go back and watch that video, I did that way like 2 years ago and way before I'd really even looked into how to properly stream. And even now, this is only my second live stream in the last 2 weeks. I am going to be live streaming a bit more often going forward, and as well as doing more content such as like mixing projects, mixing music, producing beats, or composing, I guess I should say, to be more specific, because all of this is called production. Mixing is part of the production process. Writing is part of the production process. Recording is part of the production process. All of those things are production. But what I mean more specifically is I'll maybe be doing more on composing, to be specific, and more on mixing. And then also as well as just talking a bit about the industry, how things work, legal stuff that you need to know either as a producer or an artist, or what have you. Some stuff that might even pertain to people who are starting small record labels, things you'll need to know as well. So I will just be doing more streaming. So that's what we're kind of going to get into today. Is I'm actually just going to show you how to do trackouts for your project to be able to send those over for mixing. Just real quick, I want to make sure that my audio will come through from the project here. Yep, looks good. Okay, so you're getting audio from that. So essentially, we'll go ahead and get started and talking about the topic today. So today we're going to be talking about how to prepare your files to send to a studio for mixing, or if you're going to send them to me for mixing. And of course I do a lot of studio work, a lot of mixing, a lot of mastering, a lot of recording sessions, production, the whole 9 yards. I do all of that. So if you do need professional mixing, feel free to contact me. You can leave a comment in the comment section, or feel free to send me an email to majormediastudios@gmail.com and just say need mixing or something like that in the subject. And I'll get back to you and let you know kind of what we need to do to go forward from there. But so just jumping into it, what we're looking at right now is actually just a project, a recording project, right? So in this project, the client came with a beat that was already like an MP3 form. So you can't really mix this. The way that the beat is already mixed is the way that the beat is mixed, right? Like I don't have the files for the kick drum. I don't have the files for the keys or anything else that was used to make this beat. I don't have those elements separate. It's all already mixed together in this one beat. So if I hit the solo button here and I press play, you're going to hear the whole beat. Right, so you see I don't have the kick drum, I don't have the snare, the hi-hats, I don't have the cymbals. I don't have any of those elements broken out. I've only got the beat the way that it came. So that's one thing already, is that we're only going to be able to mix the vocals over the beat how the beat already is. We can do mastering after the fact, but mastering doesn't fix a mix, right? So let's just say, for instance, the hi-hat was turned up way too loud, and this is all I was supplied is this beat the way that it already is mixed. I can't turn that hi-hat down, right? So if the beat is mixed bad and you don't have the track outs for the beat, then there's not a way to fix that, really. So of course there's some software that says they can remove vocals, they can remove the beat, and you can hear just the vocals and stuff like that. And although those programs do actually exist, the method that they use to remove those elements it's basically frequency negation, right? So they're taking the frequencies that are being sang by the voice, and then they're negating those frequencies, which effectively removes the voice. But all instruments are full spectrum, right? So when you're removing the voice out of a beat, you're removing those frequencies out of the beat as well. So if you play that beat by itself, it's not going to be the same quality as just the beat would be by itself without the voice already on it, right? So if you take the beat and it's got the voice already interlaced in it, and now this is all one solid piece of audio, and you remove the voice from that, you've got these empty spots in the instrumental too, because those frequencies have been removed altogether. So that's kind of what happens with that. You do lose a lot of quality in your files when you use programs like that. So they will do the job. They'll get rid of the voice, or they'll get rid of the instruments and just leave just the voice, right? So now you hear just the voice. But to do that, again, it's just a matter of removing certain frequencies and leaving something left, but that thing that's left is also missing those frequencies. So although programs like that do exist, they are not the same quality as what we would call studio quality. They're very degraded. In any event, this instrumental is already mixed the way that it is, so I can't change anything with the mix for the beat. And then what we've got after that is, you can see that I've got these different files here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 here, and these are the hook. And then you see here, in between the hooks, I've got the verses. So if I play this for you here, which one of you bitch nigga that said something? Throw that bitch in park. I've been out that bitch with a pack 9, I'm trying to rip them up. Shout out. So what's going on, and right now I'm showing you both of the screens as well as my camera and a logo to take up the other space. But if you notice, when these play here, these 3 yellow channels are represented here on the mixing console side, and these are the 3 channels. Now I've got one of them where the pan is left center, and it's got a little bit of a stereo widener on it, but it's center. And then this one is hard left, and this channel is hard right. So if I play these together, so now that's the voice by itself. But I can also play you just the left side, and I can play just the right side, and I can play you just the center as well. Trying to catch them with them tools, trying to bun them. All right, and now you notice that when I stop that, trying to get the peg gone, there's a little bit of an echo and there's a little bit of a reverb. Like a dummy. Yeah, right, you hear that slight echo that comes through and that slight reverb. So those are not baked into the audio. Those are effects that I have the audio passing through. And now if I'm going to send all of these files over, now what I'm playing for you is what we did in the studio. So this probably already sounds good, right? But let's say I didn't already mix this and I've got just the audio, and I can do that. I'm going to hit the E button, and that basically is E for everything, and it turns off all of the plugins. So now if I play these, it's a lot quieter, right? And the reason it's a lot quieter is because if I turn off all the plugins, I'm turning off the compressors, I'm turning off the limiters, I'm turning off everything that squeezes the audio down into so you don't have such high peaks and such low quiet spots. It just compresses. That's what a compressor does. So if you've got a big audio peak and then you've got some quiet parts, the difference between those is really noticeable. And so what a compressor does is it's going to compress the loud parts, and then it allows you now, because you've compressed those loud parts down, you're able to boost the gain, and those quiet parts actually become louder until the loudest peak is then at the max, but those quiet parts now are louder. So the point of a compressor, although it's compressing, the point of it is to be able to boost the quiet parts. As opposed to reduce the volume of the loud parts. So the first thing that a compressor does is to reduce the loudness of the loud parts, but it does that to allow you to boost the quiet parts. In essence, that's the basis of a compressor. But when I play this now, you notice there's no echo or reverb, anything like that. When I stop it, it just stops. Right? And so when you're sending files to be mixed at the studio, you want to turn off all of the effects, because they're going to do that at the studio, right? So maybe you threw some reverb on there to hear it and it sounds kind of good, but you're still like, man, I still want this professionally done, right? Well, if you're still wanting it professionally done, then you know that what you've done so far is not professional sounding, right? And so you don't want to send your files over with those effects already baked into it. You want to turn all of that off, and you want to send just the raw audio files, right? So that's one of the first important things, is you don't want to send any of the files with any effects that you have the ability to turn off. Now with the instrumental, there's already some effects that are built into the instrumental, and you can't turn those off because you've only got the MP3 or the WAV file, right? So those effects are just going to have to stay there, whatever it is, right? Whatever those effects are that's on the beat, that's the way the beat is. But you do have control over the vocals that you've recorded, whether you're recording at home or whether you went to another studio, or, you know, but you still just want a better mix. You feel like the mix can be more professional sounding, and you want to send it over to me for mixing. You're going to want to just turn off all of the effects, right? And so that's going to be the first thing. And now that I've got all the effects off, I'm going to take a second here. I'm going to increase the volume that we're hearing through OBS. Oh, you know, in the process of turning everything off, I've also turned off the master channel, and that's where the plugin is that sends the feed from Cakewalk over to OBS. So I'm going to turn just that one back on, and now I'm going to increase the volume of the project so we can hear. Okay, so now you should have signal again coming from Cakewalk. I'm going to turn it up here in OBS. Okay, and so now that I've done that, I've boosted the audio output a little bit from what's coming from Cakewalk, so you can hear it a little bit better on the video. Now the next thing that I'm going to do for you, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to move to the screen to where you just see the edit screen, right? Because we don't really need to look at the mix screen anymore. Whatever's going on in the mix screen right now, it's not going to matter when we prepare these files. So I'm going to show you one way that people do this that is wrong, and then I'm going to show you the correct way to do it, and I'm going to show you why one way is wrong and why one way is correct. Okay, so let me switch views here for you, and I'm going to say just the left screen. It's going to be edit screen. There we go. Okay, so now looking at this, you can see that the beat starts here, right? And I can go ahead and close the mix screen altogether. The beat starts here, but then there's a whole bunch of empty or silence, nothing happening here. There's no file here at the beginning for any of these, right? All of these are empty. Now the ad-libs look like they start around the same time as the beat, but there's parts that don't start until later, right? And so if you're tracking out your beats, when you send it to me for mixing, those empty spots can't be there. All of these files should start at the same spot. And so one thing that people do, and this is not the right way to send your projects to be mixed, is they'll go to the folder where they have this saved. And what is this? This is Pop Up by Tugutta. So let's say I'm going into my folders and I go to where this is located, which is going to be here, Tugutta, and this one is called Pop Up. So what people do is they tend to go to this audio folder where all of the audio from your project is saved. And if you look, you'll see this is a lot of files. This is even more files than what it looks like on the project. If we just look at the project, there's not that many files. It's the instrumental 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 13 audio files altogether is the total. But when we're looking at this folder with all the audio files in it, you notice that's a lot more than 13 files, right? And so what some people do, and it's not the right way to do this, is they make a new folder, or they just send the project file and they expect me to work with this. But let's say that I'm going to send myself all of these audio files. I'll say files for mixing, because I don't know any better, right? So I'm just going to say files for mixing. I'm going to grab everything in here and I'm going to copy it to this folder. So now I'm going to say to myself, all right, cool, that's all the files from this project, and I'm going to send it to Anthony. He's going to mix it for me. It's going to be perfect, right? So there's one way to do that. And again, this is the wrong way. So now let's look at what happens when I receive those files, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just I'm going to close this project. I am going to say just yes, save the changes, so it pops up on my recent projects when I open it again later, because I am going to open it back again after a second, and I'm going to show you the proper way to track out your files. And we call it tracking outs because all of those that you saw on the project are called tracks, and we want the outputs from each of those tracks individually, so we call those the track outs. So they're the track outputs. Right. But so now let's say you've just sent me a file, right? You zip filed it or whatever it is. You sent it on Dropbox, whatever it is. You just sent me a folder with all your files. You say, hey, Anthony, I want this mixed. I'm going to go to a new project and I'm going to say mix session. That's not actually how I name stuff. I would name it your artist name and then I would name it the project name. But we'll just say mix session sample for live. All right, so, and then I'm going to go ahead and create that project. And I'm like, all right, I've got these new files. I'm about to do this new mix. I'm ready to go. I'm sitting at my desk ready to work right now. If we start a timer right now, I don't know if there's a way to start a stopwatch on the computer. I guess I could do something like... Okay, so I'm just going to start a timer. We're going to see how much time I waste now, right? So the timer's going. So you told me you sent me some files to mix. I've just created the project, so timer's going. I now look at the folder that you sent me. It's going to take a second to show me everything there, and I can see there's a whole bunch of files here. All right, so I just kind of quickly in my head kind of count how many that might be. And I'm just going to estimate like 30. And in my head, the first thing I'm thinking is, wow, this is a huge project. This is 30 files or something. So in my template here, this first channel on the project, it's set up just for like instrumentals or just files that aren't vocals, I guess you could say. And so they don't already go to a preset group, or they don't have preset plugins or anything like that already run to them. So this is what I'm going to use, and I'm going to duplicate track, and I'm just going to say, let's just make 30. Let's just make 40 to make sure we have enough of these channels. So now we've still got all of the other channels. They're just further down here. Right, so now I've got all of these empty channels, and I'm about to upload your files that you just sent me. So I'm going to hit I for import. And I'm going to go to that folder, and I know where it is because I put it there. So it's in here, and it is in Tugutta's project folder, and it was Pop Up. And now here's the one that I said files for mixing. So here's all of these files. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to grab them all and I'm going to hit open. So now look at what's happening here. As they're uploading, you're noticing that the instrumental is this long. All of these other files are real small files, and they're all starting at the very beginning of the project. And so if I press play right now, I think we can already deduce that this song is not going to play the same way that it played on the actual project, right? And we're going to let them finish importing. All right, looks like they're all imported now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 files went into some vocal preset channels. I'm just going to duplicate 5 more here. And we'll move these up. So now when I press play, I should just be able to press play and hear the song how it's supposed to be laid out, right? But if I press play, listen to this. Oh, and I need to get you a plugin that feeds to OBS, feeds the audio to OBS. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so I'm going to press play. And you see it's just a nightmare of audio. And what that is all of the clips of audio that we did in the session, even the ones that he messed up and he wanted to redo, all of those files are now here. So like for instance, this one, we don't even know what it is.
He want all the smoke, then I got chronic.
That's all that is, right? And so now if I wanted to mix this and this was all I had, I would have to spend probably 2 hours just listening to every single thing, figuring out what it was and where it goes. And I would have to move everything to the proper place before I could even start mixing, right? So just sending the audio files or just sending the project file is not what you want to do when you're sending your files to be mixed. You want to send the track outs, right? So again, each one of these is considered to be a track. Oh, my light just died on me. Let's see if you can still see me relatively well. Not bad. I'll get maybe another just temporary light source going here for you. Let me switch just to logo. We're going to take just a quick break, and I'll get some more light going here. Okay, let's do a quick check and see how that looks. Okay, so quite a bit brighter than it was earlier, but we'll take it. So let's switch you back to the edit screen. Okay, so as you just saw, and as I just played for you, if we have the files, if we receive the files in this order, it's definitely not the way that we expect to receive files. We want the track outs, right? So I'm going to close this. I'm not going to save it. No, we don't want to save that. I'm going to go back to the actual project. It's going to tell me some plugins are turned off. That's fine. Now, what we actually want to do is there's a couple of things, right? We could select everything and we can do a render. So I can do like Control D on Cakewalk is the shortcut that I have set up. So I'll quickly do that just for demonstration, but that's not going to be the way that I'm going to actually do this. So if I do Control D, this is essentially going to be the same thing as doing Consolidate Audio in Pro Tools. And to where it's just going to take all of these bits of audio and it's going to make them single pieces of audio. But if you notice, there's still blank spots here in the beginning. So that when I get these files, they're still going to move forward, right? They're not going to be in the proper place. So we don't want to do that either. What we actually want to do, we're going to go ahead and we're going to select what we want to export. We're going to go File, Export. And now we've got the export page, right? And it's going to ask us how we want to export this. Now, usually I would go to the presets and I would do entire mix CD audio. CD audio is the standard for everything, whether you're sending it to iTunes or Spotify. Anywhere you're going to upload it, they're going to ask for the WAV file, and they're going to ask for it in the same format as CD audio is, right? So CD audio is going to basically export it as a WAV file. It's going to be the sample rate of 44.1, and it's going to be 16-bit audio. That's the standard for every streaming source, right? They're going to want the file in that. But another option that I have is I can do tracks. So I can export the tracks. And then you'll see I also have tracks, no automation or effects. And I have tracks through the entire mix. So this means that I can send the track outputs, but it's going to be through all of the effects that we have set up, including the automation and everything like that, but it'll be the tracks. So these allow you to to export what's coming out of the track. So the track outputs, the track outs, that's what we would call the track outs, right? And it's the same thing as like on a mixing console. You have outputs for all of these tracks. They have an input. Well, not all consoles have an output, right? But a console like this one, it's going to have the inputs where you plug the mics into it. And then it also has other plugs where you can connect just directly out from that channel. And essentially, this is what we would be doing, right? So we have all of these tracks and we want just the track outputs, and we want it with no effects. So in this case, I've already shown you to just turn off all of the effects, and I do that by hitting E for everything, right? But in the whatever program it is that you use, they probably offer a way to export your tracks without the effects. In this case, we are using Cakewalk by BandLab, and it's just one of the options that you have to track it out. So I'm going to hit tracks, no automation, no effects, right? And then it's going to ask me which files I want to send, but it's going to automatically already select just what I had highlighted before I started the export process. So it's already got what I want. It's still going to send everything out in WAV file. It's still going to send everything out in 44.1, and it's going to send these out in 24-bit, because since this isn't going to be the actual file that we're going to upload to Spotify or Pandora or whatever it is, I do send it in a higher bit rate. That way the studio that receives it, it'll be at least the 16-bit or higher. The higher the bit rate is, the more headroom that it gives you for the audio, for your mixing. And of course I do dithering. So let's go ahead and I'm going to say export. It's going to ask me, do you wish to proceed, right? The following 6 files will be created by this command. So now you see it's saying it's only going to be 6 files as opposed to what was that 35 that we had earlier when we just took the audio from the project. So yes, I want to create these 6 files. And then it's going to ask me, okay, where do you want to send these to now? Or actually, it asked me for that before I exported. And I didn't even look where I sent them, so I'm going to need to look back at that when it's done. So it says export audio successful completed. I'm going to look back at this and just see where I sent these because I didn't pay attention. So I sent these to Major Media Studio, Studio Recordings. Where did these go? Oh, so just to Studio Recordings, I believe, is where this went. Yeah, so let's check just to be sure that that's where they went. Yep, and here they all are. So those are the trackouts that I just created right now, right? So now I've just tracked these out, so I'm going to close this. I'm not going to save it. Now we're going to pretend the same thing. I've just got this folder from you. You're saying, Anthony, I want you to mix this song. I do create new project. I'm going to call it test 2 for mixing for live. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Once again, I'm going to take this top channel, which is just set up without any effects or anything like that, and I'm going to duplicate it. I already know that we've got 6 channels of audio, so I'm just going to hit 6. Now there's my 6 channels. I'm going to hit I for import. I'm going to go to my Studio Recordings folder. Sort by date. They're going to be at the top, and it's going to be these files here. Oh, and you know what? I failed to stop the timer on this. We definitely didn't waste 14 minutes on that. But we wasted time. Just the point was that we wasted time just me looking at your like sitting down, creating the project, naming it, filing it, importing your files just to find out it's not going to work. That was already a waste of several minutes of my time as a mixer when I receive stuff like that. And then I've got to email you back, or the customer, whoever it is, and I've got to email them back, tell them these files weren't sent properly, you've got to do this and that. Now I've got to spend another 15 minutes explaining how to do trackouts, right? And so a good half hour of my time could end up being wasted on that just because the files weren't sent properly. Now, look at these. These files are all the same length. They all start at the same place. They all end at the same place. And if I just press play, even without moving anything, let me make sure I've got the feed plugin so it'll send audio to OBS. Hold on. And as usual, we're going to call it Cakewalk Audio Feed because that's what I have it titled in OBS, so that's what it will recognize. So now I hit play. And so now you can see all of the files aren't playing properly. You can see that they're all sending signal. There's no left and right already set. We sent them all in mono. We sent them all with no effects.
Trying to get the pad gone like a dummy. Drop a bag, get them gone, man, it won't be too long. I'm in my zone, color young. You can't come in my zone. We up them sticks, trying to bust a nigga down in it, bitch. I remember selling Nick, trying to turn a half into a brick. Looking like a lick, smelling like a brick.
Yep, so see, now you can see the files are how we expect them to be when we receive them at the studio. So now at this point, I would be able to just start mixing, right? And there's no time wasted at all. I'm able to even see what's going on here. So I can see that these 3 are the same. This one's different. So probably these 3 are going to be the hook. And then this one is probably going to be the verse because I can see that it's happening between the hooks. And then this one is all a whole bunch of little stuff. I'm going to assume that that's going to be ad-libs, right? And so now just by looking at this, I'm already halfway there. And I don't have to do anything. Now at this point, if this were a normal situation, I would just take these files and I would drop them into some audio channels, right? So I would take these 3 and I would drop them into a hook group, a group of channels that I have set up to mix the hook. I would take this one and I would drop it into a channel that I generally would use for the main vocals. And I would take this ad-lib track and I would drop it in one of these ad-lib channels. So I'd probably run it on the group that I use for a verse. And then I can just delete all of these other channels that I wouldn't need for this project. Delete those. Delete these empty channels now that I initially made just to import the files. And now look at that we're left with just these audio files. We already know what they are and they're in their proper group channel. So now when I press play already.
Which one of these bitch nigga that said something? Throw this bitch in park. I been out that bitch with a pack 9, I'm trying to rip them up. Shout out to the Tez and my baby mama who hit bread. R.I.P. the bread, you know how we play, we trying to bust his head. Yeah. I'm like, let me pop my shit and I be thuggin', yeah. He want all the smoke, then I got chronic, yeah. Trying to catch him with them tools, trying to bomb him. Trying to get the pack gone like a dump, yeah. I'm like, let me pop my shit and I be thuggin', yeah. Look, he want all the smoke, then I got chronic, yeah. Trying to catch him with them tools, trying to bomb him, yeah. Trying to get the pack gone like a dump. Drop a bag, get them gone, man, it won't be too long. I'm in my zone, call it young, you can't come in my zone. We up them sticks, trying to bust a nigga down in it, bitch. I remember selling Nick, trying to turn a half into a brick. Looking like a lick, smelling like a brick. I be on my shit, talking shit, get a nigga gone up in the jail. I might send a blick, pick a nigga up just like a lip. I might plead the fifth, run out with the pack, then you won't live. Different Richard trying to touch a meal, he get it how he live. What's the deal? I'm trying to up that bitch and spray that bitch like Phil. I'm in the field, trying to pop him like a pill. What's the deal? I pop up and I'ma show him how I live, that was real. 20 bitch nigga that said something, throw this bitch in park. I been out that bitch with a pack 9, I'm trying to rip him up. Shout out to the Tez and my baby mama who hit that bread. R.I.P. the bread, you know how we play, we trying to bust his head, yeah. I'm like, let me pop my shit and I be thuggin', yeah. He want all the smoke, then I got chronic, yeah. Trying to catch him with them tools, trying to bomb him, yeah. Trying to get the pack gone like a dump, okay, yeah. I'm like, let me pop my shit and I be thuggin', yeah.
And that fast, we've already got it sounding pretty good. And all I had to do was drop them into some preset channels that I've already got with my standard plugins that I would use on a voice channel, right? It's going to be like compression, some distortion just to add some warmth. And then from there, once I've got them in these templates, then I would go through and I would start touching on each one of these plugins independently to actually get it set specifically for this song. So, you know, and so now we're good to go. And there's no problem with the audio. I didn't have to move anything as far as like forward or backward. I just dropped it into a channel with some presets, right, that I have. And now I'm not ever going to send something out just using presets. I'm always going to actually mix it. But so for instance, if I come here to where the verse starts and I go to this channel, I'm still going to pull up the compressor. Each one of these plugins, I'm still going to pull them up and I'm going to adjust them to the proper place. But now we're already miles ahead, right? And so sometimes people are booking mixing for just 1 hour. You know, they want to book just 1 hour of mixing. So either you can send the files the wrong way and it's going to take me half of that hour to even figure stuff out, and then you've only got a little bit of time left for the mixing. Or if you send them this proper way, I've already got a bunch of it done within the first 5 minutes, right? And so that's the way you want to send your track outs is, again, you want to send everything with no effects. If you have the ability to turn the effect off, turn it off. We're going to do that in the studio. We're going to make sure that the effects sound professional at the right levels and all of that good stuff. We're going to make sure that the echoes happen with the tempo, you know, and not just a random echo speed. So we're going to handle all of that in the studio when we mix it. So any effects that you can send, turn them off. Number 2, don't send the project file. It's useless to us, right? We don't need the project file. We don't need the audio folder, right? We want the track outs, which is why they're called track outs. We want the track outs for the project. So in this case, I showed you how to send track outs with Cakewalk by BandLab. But again, with Pro Tools, you're just able to select everything and do consolidate audio. I forget what the keyboard command is for that, but you would do consolidate audio in Pro Tools, and then you would have all of the stems or all of the track outs in a separate folder. So in this case, you don't want the files from the audio folder, but if you do consolidate audio in Pro Tools, you want those files. They place them in the audio folder there. So you can send those, but we still don't need the whole audio file. We need just those files that were consolidated, right? And even with Pro Tools, there's an option to export just the track outputs, right? And with every one of the programs that are out there today, like I use Reason to make beats. And just real quick, I'll show you, even with Reason, you're able to send just the track outputs. Now with Reason, there's not a way that I found that you can easily turn off all of the effects. I'll just go to a recent project. But the same rule applies. You just want to turn off all of the effects that you can possibly turn off. And then from there, see if I go to export, it'll ask me, well, one of them is bounce mixer channels, right? And that's essentially creating track outputs. So we're going to do bounce mixer channels. We're going to select each one of the channels that we want to send to the studio for mixing. I don't need the master section. I don't need the effects channels. I just want just the channels. Because then it's going to be those without any effects or anything like that. We would do either song start to end marker or loop left to right marker. I usually set my loop points where I want it to start and stop. And that leaves a little bit of time at the end for the instruments to fade out. So I usually do loop left to right when I'm exporting those. I'm going to do audio files on disk, apply mixer settings. I'm going to do none. I don't want to apply any of the mixer settings. Maybe while I was making the beat, I already started panning some stuff to the left, panning some stuff to the right, turning some stuff up and some stuff down. I don't want any of that because I'm sending it for somebody else to mix it, right? I don't need to include what I've already done with the mix. So I'm going to say no mixer settings, and I'm going to normalize so that all of the audio files are the loudest that they can be without cutting anything off the tops, right? So it's just going to boost the audio files to just as loud as they can be without going beyond 0, I guess you could say. I'm still going to make sure that it's going to be exported as a WAV file, 44:1 and 16-bit, right? And I'm going to use dither. And then I'm just going to hit OK. And again, we'll do this one quick. I'm just going to save it to the desktop. It's going to take a second to render all of these down, but you'll see that there's gaps in here in between stuff. Some stuff starts later than other stuff, but when I'm rendering these down as mix files, they're all going to, when I upload it to a new project, they're all going to start at the proper place. All right, so that's done. Let's just come back to this project, and I'm just going to undo all of this that I've done to delete channels and import these files. I'm just going to undo to 0. Okay, so I've undone all of that. Now again, I'm going to just take this channel here that I use for an instrument or something. It doesn't have any presets on this channel. I'm going to duplicate it. In this case, those track outs, it maybe looked like there's 20 of them, something like that. I'm just going to create 30 channels just to have more than I actually need. I'm going to hit I for import. I think we sent them to the desktop. And let's see, here they are. Is this actually the correct folder though? I want to make sure this is the correct folder. Because I didn't put them in, I don't believe I put them in a folder, but what's the time on this? 4:28, 12:25. Okay, yeah, so this is actually it. So now if I grab all of these and I hit OK or open, you're going to see that they all come into the project already lined up as well. I can just press play and start mixing. I don't have to move anything around or figure out where anything goes. Now, of course, I will take time and I'm going to label all of my channels so I know what it is that I'm mixing when I'm mixing it. So that takes time itself, you know, like the Ampeg, this is a bass, so I would just say bass. This one says audio track 2 copy. So I'm still going to take a second and name everything, but like this says rim shot, for instance. And I'm seeing that actually on the file here. The file says that. So when you export it from Reason, it's going to name the audio file whatever the track name was, right? So naming your tracks is kind of important too. But even if they didn't say something, then I would listen to each one of these and I would, be able to tell what it is I'm hearing, and then I would go ahead and name it accordingly. That way when I'm mixing, I can say, oh, okay, this is the bass, right? This one says bass, so that's my bass, and I'll turn it up or down, whatever I need to do. But if I press play now, you'll see that all of these are in the right place. Oh, I've got to get you guys some audio feeding to OBS. 1 second. All right. So you see everything plays as it's supposed to. I didn't have to move anything around or figure out where anything went. So that's kind of what you want to do when you're preparing your files to be sent for mixing. Turn off all of your effects. And then send everything, either export with trackouts or bounce mixer channels. What was it again for Pro Tools? Condense audio, right? So every program is going to give you some kind of a way to send your file out. And now a way that you can verify if you've done this properly or not is when you see the files in the folder that you've sent them to. See, I'm going to go to size as an option to see the files, and you'll notice that all of these are the exact same file size, right? And that's how we can tell that they all start and stop at the same point. So this is how you know you've got it right. You can verify that by looking at the file size, and they should all be the identical file size. If I go back to pop-up and I go to audio and files for mixing, and then if I do size, so these were the first ones that I did. You notice how they're all different file sizes. That's how we know that these weren't tracked out properly, right? So that's your verification for you, as opposed to where did we, when we tracked those out, oh, here they are. Yep, so same file size here on these, also 53064. In desktop for the ones we just sent out, if I hit size on these are all 39919. So that's how we can verify that we've tracked it out properly. Okay, so I know that was kind of a lot, but at the same time, it's not very much. Just when you want to send your files to be mixed down, just turn off all of the effects and export the audio track outs. Don't send the audio folder. We don't need all of that. And you should be good to go. All right, so that's going to be it for this live and for this video showing you how to prepare your files for mixing. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video. Like, subscribe, comment. We're going to be going live more often, just mixing audio, showing you stuff like this, like how to track out your files for mixing. We're going to be going live a lot more often, just on all different kinds of stuff like that. We'll maybe even be doing like music news, stuff like that. So please be sure to subscribe. Please be sure to leave a comment, just because it'll help out my algorithms. And share it to somebody else also that you think might be interested in this type of stuff. We are going to be basically doing some teaching and stuff like that. So, all right, again, thank you guys for watching today. We'll see you guys.